Nestled in the stunning Jungfrau region in the Swiss Alps, the downhill in Wengen, Switzerland is a unique venue that has become synonymous with downhill ski racing.
When you think of Wengen, the race is called the Lauberhorn. It's all about tradition. It's the longest running downhill race in the world for World Cup, or even beyond that, before the World Cup even started. That's one of those races that there's just so much tradition, so much following. It's just one of those huge classics that you definitely want to win that, in your career.
Well, Wengen is like the most beautiful place on earth, first of all. There's no place more beautiful when the weather's perfect. You have this run that's 2.85 miles long in the most beautiful place on earth, and it's all yours. See how fast you can go down it, see where you can grab your tuck, see how much fun you can have. It has everything. And coupled with the fact that you have to take a train to the start to get there, I mean, there's just so much about Wengen that I think makes it the essence of downhill. The energy of downhill is Kitzbühel. The essence of downhill is Wengen, the Lauberhorn.
Lauberhorn is an adventure. It's not just a downhill course. Lauberhorn starts when you go up with the train. I mean, when you go up and you look out of the window and you see all these mountains, you get impressed by the nature. And suddenly you feel that you are an actor in the middle of this nature.
As the essence of the downhill, the Lauberhorn is a greatest hits compilation of all things that make a downhill great. There is no other race that captures so many aspects of the sport.
Wengen is definitely a unique race. I mean, it's almost like, it almost stands alone, like a different event in certain ways. It just is it's so long, and it breaks into parts. You have 45 seconds, almost a minute, until you get to the top of the Hundschaft. It's 85 miles an hour glide turns, way up high, no reference of anything, like you're out in the middle of nowhere, so you're just ripping along, a couple little jumps, but basically not a whole lot going on. And then you slow down from 80 down to 30 or 25.
Shaft means elevator shaft, and that's exactly what it is, man. It's rocks on your left, the old net fence that comes out on the right. It just comes in like a little narrow slot, and you just come up and just drop off this thing. And I've hit it good sometimes, and one train I didn't hit so well where I boosted the whole thing around the flats. It's a good 70-foot drop pretty much, it's huge.
It's the opposite. It's like you go from totally open at the top where you're just cruising to narrow, confined spaces. When you're in the air, you're 15 feet off the ground flying, and you go right by the corner of that fence, when you go off the Hundschaft. And then you go right up against the next fence when you do that bank turn over that roll, and then you go down onto a road that's only less than a car lane wide, and you're going 75 down that with a fence on one side and a hill on the other. And then you go through two 90-degree turns at 70 miles an hour. You'd never be able to make those turns, I don't think, on a motorcycle or, at that speed.
When you come out of the tunnel in Wengen and you're going, oh shit, man, my legs are burning already and I got like a minute to go. And that's the truth. I mean, I don't care how great a shape you're in, you're feeling your legs at that point. And then you come over all these rolls and you're tucking down, and they inject it with ice, right? So you see the net coming and you kind of are looking at the net because that's where you need to know where to start edging your ski to set up the last two turns. And at that point, all you're trying to do is get as high and stand as tall as you can with the wind pressing at your back, but keeping your arms in front of you, just to get a little bit of blood to flow into your legs so you can pull off and get skeletally aligned and just pull off those last 2 turns. If you think you're going to come into those last 2 turns and just use muscle, you're going to end up on your back and into the nets. It's
dark and you're you're right into a huge compression at the bottom. You're already 2 minutes into the race, so your legs are completely cashed. You can't see well anyway because you get no blood to your head. All the blood in your body is going to your big muscle groups to keep yourself standing up. And you start to essentially black out because things go gray and you start to get tunnel vision comes in, and then you have into Stump Alley in the last 2 turns, which are 2 of the most aggressive technical turns in all of downhill skiing. 75 miles an hour, you come off double camber turns and then a jump into the finish, into a huge compression into the finish. It's like 4 downhills all kind of stuck together into one. There's no other downhill that's as long, as physically taxing, or as taxing technically. To win that race, you have to have every facet of downhill skiing completely dialed in.
If you want to win Wengen, you got to be in great shape and you got to be smart and know how to ski those last 2 turns.
The Lauberhorn is easily the longest course on the World Cup circuit, nearly a minute longer than any other World Cup race. This course stalks racers, wearing them down and then pouncing, with a cruel test at the end that evaluates not only an athlete's physical conditioning, but his desire to succeed. There is perhaps no better test of an athlete in any sport than the Lauberhorn in Wengen, with elements that require strength, mental focus, power, finesse, courage, and above all else, endurance. This timeless downhill course has created legends and destroyed careers. It is difficult to imagine any other venue in any other sport that demands so much from an athlete.